This is Alan Brocken. Now that my kids are grown up, they say I'm the cool dad everybody talks about. But if you're like me, you got to know I'm not cool all the time. Actually, I was maybe cool a couple times a month, maybe on a good day. And that was, I don't know. Most of the time I was strung out, tired, and I had to really work hard to connect with my kids and family because I was just out of words. I know you might be feeling the same way. So I've got a dad word for you today, something for you to talk about to help you get your brain out of work mode and into family mode. So let's get started with today's dad word. The dad word is New Testament. The New Testament. So we're going to be talking about things from the New Testament. Maybe have a joke or two that have to do with that and the Bible. But one thing we also need to make sure we do as we're trying to transition from work to home is really just kind of clean out the brain and the body and just be ready to be present with our family. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in through your mouth, out through your nose, in through your mouth, out through your nose. There you go. So, and you just keep doing that, keep breathing because it's important. It helps clean out all kinds of negative chemicals and it just opens the mind to be more receptive to being present with your family. So, as a Christian, I believe the Holy Spirit came so that we could have access to God's grace and forgiveness. And I think that's sort of the crux of the New Testament. When we think about John 14:16 through 17, this week's verse, it says, "And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you." So this verse again, John 14:16 through 17. "And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another advocate to help you and be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him. But you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you." John 14:16 through 17. You still breathing? So, are you having a tough time remembering that all us in America, we're in this together? That at the end of the day, I mean, yes, there are differences, there are things that make us different than one another, but in the end, we're all in it together. We all live in the United States. Well, today's great word is from Herman Melville in his first voyage from 1849. "Settled by the people of all nations may claim her for their own. You cannot spill a drop of American blood without spilling the blood of the whole world." And I got to say, I've heard over and over and over again how America is more divided than ever, and that may be the case. I mean, I'm not the historian that other people are, but I got to ask the basic question of, if you're a believer and you're trying to, live right with your family and show things, we got to accept the fact that America is this whole melting pot, that the world we're in is very diverse. And there's lots of stuff going on around us that has reason for us to be divided. I'm not saying we shouldn't hold firm on the principles that we had before, but I think there's a lot of grace to be given, and a lot of opportunity for us to look at the people around us in our neighborhoods and just take a step back and go, is that difference between me and my neighbor really worth it? Like, that is to say, should I be holding enmity? Should I be holding it against them? Or should I maybe be building bridges right now, right? And in some cases, maybe you should. We've talked a lot about living with integrity. I mentioned a couple weeks ago about challenges with my daughter at school that just were unreconcilable. I don't think there was a reason for us to keep her in a bad situation. On the other hand, there's been plenty of times where, just differences of opinion as to how I would do something at my house and my neighbor does something can start to build up and be a challenge that it doesn't have to be. And so I'm just asking, are you having a tough time remembering that we're all in this together, right? The fact of the matter is, inflation is hurting everybody, right? Like, we all have problems with gas prices. These things are a challenge for everybody. So can we have a little bit more grace and maybe ask the Spirit for that, so we can get through our day? Because a lot of the stuff that'll really tear you up is just being angry about something going on with your neighbor that isn't going to change, isn't going to be any different, and really, on a certain level, doesn't affect you. And so maybe we could take some of that anger and put it into places where there are real challenges and do stuff to help others out. So you need some help remembering we're all in this together. You need to talk about it. Well, join us on Facebook in the Daily Dad Word discussion group. There's a link in the description. Are you still breathing? So I'm going to talk about somebody that really thought about others, and that's Ella Tyrone. When she was 6 years old, she had an allergic reaction due to celiac disease, and she spent a ton of time in the hospital. And she enjoyed coloring during her stay, but her colors were limited due to the potential of cross contamination. So she could only use this very specific set of colors that was given to her, and she couldn't share with anybody. And it was tough because, that 8 pack of Crayola can only go so far. And so, with the help of her parents, she started a campaign called Help Me Color Rainbow, where she collected crayons to donate to hospitals so that every kid could have their own wide variety of colored boxes. Our campaign has so far has donated over 49,000 boxes of crayons to hospitals all over the country. You can learn more about Ella's story in the links in the description. And hey, do you know an inspiring kid with a great attitude, solving big problems, or helping others? Use the contact form at dailydadword.com to tell us about it so we can feature your story and promote their cause. Still breathing? If my breathing exercise isn't enough, I think it's time for me to try some dad jokes. So, let's talk a little bit about the Apostle Paul. Do you know how he greeted his friend? He said, "Give me a Philemon." No, no, you don't like that one? All right. How about this? When the disciples were preparing for the Feast of Weeks, what do you think they wondered? How much is this going to pent a cost? Get it? Okay, sorry. All right, that wasn't so funny. All right, so it's your time. You come up with your own New Testament joke. Actually, if you're a member at the Daily Dad Word, or just in the comments, I'd love to hear your New Testament jokes. It'd be awesome. Maybe you got a funny story, a church story. So thanks for tuning into the Daily Dad Word. If you're looking for some more inspiration for your family time, check us out at dailydadword.com/dailydadword. The link is in the bio. I have a number of resources there to plant a seed for a lifetime relationship with your family, including a link to the Daily Dad Words discussion Facebook group.